Sales objections, resistance, everything that makes making a sale a difficult task. Without these objections and without these skillful rebuttals, if there was no grind, or if there was no resistance, if there was no need to sell, they wouldn't need salespeople. Fortunately, they do, and that's why you and I are meant to prosper, is because we are going to learn a skill that is meant for persuading and influencing those that we engage with. Learning how to sell is a key piece in establishing not only long-term financial well-being, but independence. Like you know a skill that can generate revenue. And I think it's important that you are best prepared. And so on this episode, if this is your first time visiting, my name is Daniel. I'm the host of Sales Remastered. On this channel, I share with you life experiences and stories in my past, how I was able to adapt and learn these certain lessons that I believe still ring true today. They still play a huge role on not only your future success, but it's going to give you a glimpse on what you're going to run into if you're not already running into that challenge today. And if you are, now you got videos and you have a ton of content at Sales Remastered that's going to help you get over that hump. And on this episode, I'm actually going to dive deep in sales objections. I want to go over probably the most common sales objection that I receive personally. And I receive these questions by direct message, by email. You know, those who reach out to me to the email address help@salesremaster.com. I see your comments, and as you've seen, I've been able to produce and release content if I don't already have it here on this channel. But I got playlists galore, so go check that out. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how to get over those objections, and I'm going to tell you a technique on how to block the objection from even coming up. Right? Like imagine that. Imagine if you had a skill, if you had a script that enabled you to literally overcome the objection before it even happens, so that the objection doesn't even happen. Like it's that in my view, or at least in my opinion, is the absolute best way to sell. It's when you don't have to sell. It's when you don't sound like you are selling. And this is the philosophy that I'm going to share with you. And if you haven't already, there's a script that I've revamped it. I've updated it. It looks nice. It's fancy now. It has colors. And I told you from the beginning, I will get better at this. And as I improve, I will, the quality of not only the content, but the quality of the free information that I share with you is going to improve, and it is. And so if you haven't downloaded the sales script right now or by now, you want to go to salesremaster.com. It's going to ask you for your name and your personal email address. I get a lot of kickbacks or emails saying, "Hey man, I never got the script. It never came to me." And the reason for that is because you're using a business email address. You're probably using your own lender's email address or your work email. And your work email, of course, they have this quarantine feature that's going to block any spam, or it's going to block any messages that they don't recognize. And because I use a email provider or servicer such as MailChimp, sometimes it's not going to break past your quarantine. You'll never get it. So the solution is, when you put your name, put a personal email address, an email address that you can confirm right then and there, because it's right when you hit submit, you get the email. You got to verify you're not a robot or anything. There's like this CAPTCHA test just to make sure, that you're not some computer on the other side of the world trying to take over the world. Anyway, check it out. It's designed with a script and some helpful information on why sales conversations never make it to the end. And you need a sales conversation to make it to an end, because that means you have completed the assessment. You've gathered and collected enough intel to become the structure of your sales pitch. And if you cannot complete the initial sales conversation because you're getting stopped by objections like, Daniel, I'm not interested. Save your time, Daniel. I'm just not interested. Or, Daniel, I can get it cheaper elsewhere. These are objections that I face, and I'm sure we all face every single day, every single lead that we get. Before we even say our full name and introduce ourselves, we're already getting hit with objections, right? Like, hey, what's your rate? I know, save your talk. What's your fee? What's your price? I can get it down the street from your competitor for this much. Can you beat them or not? And this is something that it's fair to say that the leads going into 2018 are just going to get more difficult. We're going to run into even more objections or even more comparisons. And so what do you do? How do you prepare yourself so that you can combat those objections and remain in control of the conversation? I got the solution and I got the answer for you. Go to salesremaster.com. I'm gonna leave a link below this video. It's gonna say get your free script now. Click on the link, enter in your name and your personal email address, and I'll send it right to you. No charge. It's absolutely free. And on this download that I'll share with you is going to have all the content as to why sales conversations go wrong and what you need to pay attention to in the sales conversation, what key points and what questions you need to have prepared in order to keep that engagement going in a way that they are telling you how to sell them. They are telling you what they're interested in. And that's exactly what the sales conversation is supposed to consist of. Why most sales conversations don't go well is because the salesman is just talking and talking. Does that happen to you? Like you feel like you're doing everything right, you're saying all the right things, and then at the very end they say, nope, not interested. Or they'd say, you know what, this doesn't sound like it's for me. And a lot of times it's because of what we're saying. And I'm a firm believer that objections happen because we make them happen. And so if you go into a sales conversation saying, oh yeah, I got the best pricing, or oh yeah, I got the absolute lowest fees, or oh yeah, I could beat any and every lender, stick with me, I'm your guy, you're actually creating the objection because now you're anchoring that conversation to a specific pinpoint, which evolves around price and which evolves around rate. And that is the number one mistake, is when you are associating your service to a number, not a result. When you shift your focus and stop selling, actually consult and collaborate with that person that's on the other line, and you discover exactly what their needs are. Exactly. When I say exactly, I'm not talking about a vague statement. I'm not talking about like, hey man, I think I can help you save some money. No, I'm talking about exactly to what their needs are. So you are able to extract the exact needs and the exact plan of what they plan to do with the service or the results of your service that you sell. And so if you sell the result of saving money, then you have to define it and describe it in a way that they'll understand. And that is how you combat objections, is that you're speaking to them. You're not just a general vague statement of, hey, I think I could lower your rate and save some money. You're sounding more fine-tuned, tailored, and adapting to what they tell you. So you're actually reiterating what they want. They're hearing it out loud from you. So if your services that you sell, the result that everyone buys your service for is for a lower rate or a lower payment, understand that it's because of the monthly savings. And now instead of saying, hey, I can save you some money because we believe that that's our benefit, what's a real benefit and what's really going to grab the loyalty from your prospect or that lead on the phone call is when you translate it and literally map out how the process was going to work. So in other words, if they use the monthly savings because they want to become debt free, or they're using the monthly savings because they want to pay off credit card debt in hopes to retire someday in the next 15 years, then that's exactly how you should apply and reiterate your plan, your solution, right? And so when you go say, hey, you know what, I have an idea, I believe I can help you, let me run it by you first to make sure that this is in line. And then you spit out every single thing that they just told you that they wanted to do, and it was because you kept in control of the conversation, you asked the right questions, but more importantly, you opened them up to frame your call for the pitch. That's all the sales conversation is how can I dissect this person? Not literally, but how can I dissect their wants and build the pillars to help lift them to where they want to go, the level that they want to be at. And now I'm a problem solver. I'm not a salesman. I'm a firm believer that I'm not a salesman, and I want to believe that, because going into a call, if I believe I'm a salesman, if I believe that my goal is to make a sale, then it's going to come off in my tone, in my body language. It's going to come out in the words that I say. It's because I'm just focused about making a sale. Instead, I go into the sales conversation addressing the top immediate concerns that my prospect has. And you might be saying, well, Daniel, what are those immediate concerns? Let me know what those immediate concerns. And I'm actually giving it to you in fine print. When you go to salesremastered.com, enter in your name, your email address, download that script, prepare yourself, because 2018, it's not going to be easier than 17. It's not going to be easier than 16. You have to adapt with the times. People are making buying decisions in a different way. The only one that are surviving as of today are those who are making noise in a different way, are those who are studying their craft, are those who have the discipline and the humility to see if there are other options, if there are a better way than what you're currently doing right now. Those who are coming in with an open mind and willing to experiment to see if they can adapt another process that's clearly working. You know, yesterday I was blessed and fortunate enough to join my team. The top sales agents of the company were announced. It's called President's Council. So for 2017, the top earners and top performers were recognized in front of the company as being the top individuals and top producers. There are 3 loan officers who are announced, and then there's 1 manager, sales manager, that's announced. Fortunately, the 2 of the top 3 were my team, meaning that they were part of my camp and my sales team, and the top sales manager was yours truly. And so I think I have enough experience on this topic to share with you what's working. And I know you might say, oh, damn, I don't mean shit. Well, it does mean shit to me, because that's exactly what I wanted. I knew what I want. I put in place the action that would help me get there, and I got that motherfucker. So if you have a preferred destination wherever you want to get to, whether it's 2 sales or 3 sales or 4 sales or 5 sales, whatever amount of sales, you understand that in order to get to that sale, you got to reverse engineer it, right? In order to get to a sale, you got to have a willing and anxious prospect. In order to have a willing and anxious prospect, you need to communicate them in the way that you have sold them. In order to do that, you need to conduct the first initial sales conversation in a way that is going to keep that person to you like glue. And that's exactly what this script does, is it opens them up and it enables you to frame that conversation for the pitch call and for the sales presentation. And when you practice this method and you fine tune it and make it your own, you are going to be amazed of how easy it is to open someone up. And sometimes you don't need to open up to make a sale, right? Sometimes you just need to open them up to make sure they even qualify for the fucking conversation. And so you don't want to go down a path where you spend 30, 40 minutes and trying to chase and tell this person why you're number one, and then they can't even qualify for your number one service. And that's deflating. That's, you know, it's a letdown. And I don't want you having that inside of your circle. I don't want you having that. Instead, I want to give you the momentum that you need to win and to succeed. And so I'm going to do that for you. By the way, I won that award and I was recognized as a top sales manager, but it is not from me. It is a true sign of my team, and why I am fortunate to earn that award and that recognition is because my team was courageous enough to execute on a plan, to take action, and to keep the attitude that is necessary to win. I'm simply riding the motherfucking coattails. So I owe everything in this future trip to Cabo, fully paid for by the company, to my team, my squad, my camp, because they're the ones who hustle day in, day out. They're the ones that make the sacrifice, and they're the ones who stepped up and took the right actions and didn't give up. They stayed persistent and they believed in the process, and eventually they made it their own. And I want you to do that too. So please go to salesremastered.com, link in the bio says get your free script, click it, enter your name, your email address, and in a snap, your eyes will be opened up to a whole new world. They'll be opened up to a whole new way to conduct your sales conversation. I think that's the piece of information that you need to get that momentum that you want in order to achieve that goal that you have. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.